Hi everybody, welcome back to the second video for the explanation of UVW unwrapping. We're going to try and continue off where we stopped in the first video, and we're going to try and explain a few more of the other options that we have when we are unwrapping our models. So for this one, we're going to start off with a cone like this. So again, it's a standard primitive, a simple cone, and let's see how we can unwrap something like this. Just like we did it previously, I'm gonna try and apply my checker texture and see how it is right now. As we can see, we have some kind of a UV unwrapping, but it's simply not working well. So I'm going to just go ahead and apply UVW mapping clear, and then just right click and convert to an editable poly. That way we're gonna collapse it. All right, so let's go ahead and apply a unwrap UVW modifier. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to select the top portion here. So the top part, I'm going to hit quick planar map, then select the bottom one, again, planar map, and then select one of the edges going across and then hit on loop. Once we have this selected, just hit on convert edge selection to seams. This should cut up our model so that we can use the UV unwrap. All right, so let's open up the UV editor, and from here, let's just hit on the mapping. Oops, let's just select all of the polygons. Make sure you have the ignore backfacing selected, so select everything. Hit mapping, unfold mapping. This should give us, yep, there it is. So we have everything mapped up like this. So we can move this around. We see it's still connected. If we want to have it as a separate, we can break it off, put it on the side, take this, break it off, put it on the side. Now, as you can see, when you're doing it this way, you're going to notice that even though when you're looking at this seam, it really doesn't look right, because you can see all this, the entire seam at the middle. This is basically not breaking the texture because it is unwrapped correctly. The only reason why this is looking like it is simply because the texture has been positioned like this. So I can use the rotate and put it into position till I get it to something that I like, and then just put it wherever I need it. All right, so again, I'm going to go ahead, select this portion over here, just make sure I have this unselected, and then hit on stitch custom, top, bottom, stitch custom again, and we can just click on pack custom, and there we go. We have it perfectly positioned in our UV space. All right, now I want to show you one more way that you can do this. So again, I'm going to delete the unwrap, and I'm going to put a new one. All right, so again, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to hit this one, so quick planar, the bottom one, quick planar. And again, just want to select some of the edges on one of the sides and click on convert edge selection to seams. All right, let's open up the editor. And now once we selected the top portion, put it on the side, bottom one as well. So what we're left with is the center part. So since we're not doing the unfold mapping, there's another way that you can unfold models like this. Just a second, let me put this aside. Once you have everything selected, you have a certain option which is more or less the most used option, at least for me when I'm unwrapping stuff, and that's called the Pelt Map Peel. So what this does is once you click it, it's going to give you this little window over here, and it has options for it. You have start pelt and relax. So the way this works is basically like a skinning rack. If you've ever had the chance to see how an animal is skinned and then how the skin is treated, you're gonna notice that the skin is put on a rack like this, which is basically stretching it towards all the edges. So this is more or less the same work, the same principle this works. So once you press the start pelt, this entire ring is pulling all the vertices towards it. And as you can see, it's stretching it like this. So once I get to this position, I'm going to click on commit. That is going to keep the model like this, so I can rotate it and put it into position. But now the problem here is that once you make it like this, you're going to be stuck with a problem, whereas all of these pieces coming from the texture are not the same. They look distorted. So what you need to understand is, once you do your pelt mapping, what you need to do next is relax this. So you can either go to tools and relax. And once you're here, you have two additional things that you need to make sure are right. And the first thing is the amount. I usually keep it up at 1. And the second one is you need to choose either edge or polygon. Edge angles or relax by edge angles is okay if you want to keep the stretching towards the edges, while polygon is trying to make sure that all the tension between the polygons is nullified. So I'm going to go with polygons and click on start relax. Just make sure you see what happens once I click on start relax. You're going to see that right away this entire thing straightened it out. So I'm going to click apply, and you're going to notice that inside over here we have everything looking right. And if I just take a look at the top part, we're going to see that these cubes or these pieces of the texture are much smaller than what we have here, but that is actually really easy to fix, because all you have to do is select all of the polygons, hit on rescale element, and it is going to get them all to have exactly the same mapping or texture space that they are taking. So with this way, I'm just going to go ahead again, stitch these together. So stitch and stitch. Oh, that's relax. All right, stitch. And once we have this, just click on pack custom, and there we go. Our model has been unwrapped, and all the faces are getting more or less the same texture distribution. So alright, so since we have the cone unwrapped, let's try and explain a few more other options, and for that we can use a torus. So this is again another standard primitive. All you have to do is just go over here, create a torus like the one I have, and let's see how we can unwrap something like this. So as you might notice, as we're progressing, the way that we are unwrapping things gets a bit more, bit by bit more complicated. So with this, we're actually gonna have the chance to unwrap it in two different ways. So first, we need to decide what or how do we want to unwrap this. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to apply this texture to it. See that we have some kind of a unwrap to it. I don't like it, so again, clear and convert to editable poly, and now add an unwrap UVW. All right, so by default, once you add the unwrap UVW, you're gonna notice that pretty much the top portion is right, but once it gets to the edges, we're getting some stretching. That is because by default we are getting a simple planar projection map, and the easy way to get around that is simply by just selecting one of the inner edges and one of the outer edges, and then click on loop. So once we have those two selected, convert this edge selection to seams, and now we can actually go ahead and select one of the top polygons, and now hit on expand polygon selection to seams. Once you click this button, everything that's within this UV aisle is going to be selected. So as you can see, half of the top portion has been selected. Now once we have this, we can again just add a simple quick planar map to it. So quick planar map, and again I'm going to go over to the bottom part, select the entire thing, and again quick planar map. Not much has changed though. As you can see, we still have that problem with the stretching on the sides. But now, once we open the UV editor, we're going to notice two things. The first is that if we select the entire portion here, we move it to the side, we can now go ahead and relax this. So you can either go by tools and relax, or you can just hold down this button over here until you get this option. Just click here and it's going to give you the quick relax tool. So again, I'm going to go by polygons, increase the amount up to 1, and click on start relax. This is going to relax our model or our UV aisle. So start relax, stop relax, apply. Select the bottom one, start relax, stop, apply. So now if we take a look, we no longer have that stretching on the sides, and we can either choose to take both of these like this, then hit the pack custom. It's going to put them both inside the 0 to 1 texture space. So again, I can either put them like this so they're separate, or I can just take one of the edges, hit on stitch, and now they are both they're both the same. So I can just move it around this, and there we go. We have this mapped up. All right, so that was the first way that you can tackle something like this. The second way would be to use the pelt mapping. All right, and let's go ahead and see how that would work. So again, unwrap UVW, and I'm going to go ahead do the same thing. So one in the middle, one in the edge, loop, and convert to an convert my edge selection to seams. Now, since I want to pelt map these, I need to do something. First thing, I need to cut one of these edges over here. So I'm going to go ahead and convert the edge selection to seams. Whoop. Loop it first and then convert edges to seams. So what this did is it cut it up over here. So it's going to allow me, when I want to stretch it out, it's going to allow me to do that. Let's see how this thing is going to work. So select the entire thing, so the entire top portion, click on pelt map, and click start pelt. All right, and commit. I'm going to put this on the side. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom one. Start pelt, commit. All right, so as we can see right now, we have some weird looking geometry, but again, if I go ahead and relax this, I'm going to get it to straighten up. But in this case, instead of going with the polygon angles, I'm going to go and try with the edge angles, see what happens. Now, before I try this, one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to unwrap correctly, or if it has some back-faced polygon selected, we might have a problem and it's going to start twirling up on itself. So let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. All right, stop, relax. Now we can choose to go over to polygon angles and start to relax over here as well. All right, so we had no problems and we got something like this. Let's do the same thing over here. So again, first of all, I'm going to hit edge angles. Once it gets to a point, hit it as a polygon angles, and there we go. Apply. And now we can get both of these to have the rescale and be placed in the same texture space. All right. So with this, we basically unwrapped this model in two different ways. So far we saw a couple of different ways that we can unwrap, then relax all of these models that we made, and we have a few more other types of unwrapping to explain, but I would like to cut this video over right here, and I'm going to focus on the more advanced ways on how to unwrap certain textures in the next third video. So I hope you guys liked this one. If you did, hit the like button and then go watch the third one. So I'll see you over there.